Alright, so we're going to take a look at how to run a basic USMN using the USMN sample file. And if you want to find this on your own device, you can go to Open Sample SA Files, scroll all the way down to USMN, and hit Open. It'll look something like this. I went ahead and set the background to white. So it looks like that. So in this instance, we have 4 different instrument locations that we've shot a number of control points. And in this case, we only have control points shot, but obviously in most situations, you'd shoot control points and then you would go and measure some features or something like that. So it's important to note that we're going to use the control points for aligning each of our stations, and then we're going to bring any additional points that were shot with the instrument. We're going to bring that with the movement as well. So pretty simple to do. If you look at each instrument, each one is shot 11 different points, and they're all named the same. So if your points were not named correctly, you'd want to do that first using a edit rename. A really convenient way to do this is go to edit rename points by auto corresponding to groups and just use inner point distance. So if their names are not in any way related, then you can select a nominal point group, and then you can rename other point groups to similar names based on inner point distance calculations. So it's a really quick way to have everything named the same. So we've got 4 groups, 4 stations, and all of our points are named correctly. So all we have to do is go to Analysis, Coordinate Uncertainty, USMN, or just press Alt-U. Select all the instruments. I'm just going to hit the F2 key here and hit All, and then hit Enter. And you can see that at each station it shows us we have 11 measurements there. And if you had more point groups at each station, each instrument would obviously bring in all those other point groups. Okay, so let's look at the USMN dialog here really quick. Over here in the top left-hand corner, we show which instruments we've used in this file. I went ahead and unchecked, or it actually comes up this way by default. This will be the API Tracker 3. We're going to use that for our reference instrument, so that means that everything will be moved to this instrument. So this one will not move, everything else will move to it. If I check that one, and then that would mean all the instruments are floating, we may come to a solution where all of the instruments have moved away from our control points. But if this one you already had correct in the frame that you wanted in, you could just move everything else to that frame. If you didn't have any of them in the frame that you wanted, the frame that you wanted to keep, then you could just move all of them together, and then once you've ran the USMN, you could move all of them again. So I'm just going to leave that unchecked so that everything will move to the API tracker. Over here, what we have is our amount of error in each point. And let me go ahead and do a best fit, then solve here, so you can see kind of how everything works. So you see all of the shot lines move to here, which is the place where it found the solution there. And then that gives us a look at our error ranking here. And basically what you need to know about how this works is this tells you what point it is. Point 13 has an error value of 104%, which means that it's used 104% of our error range. And so that you may not want to use that specific point 13, so you can uncheck that and then go ahead and do another solve. And then without using point 13, 10 pops up as the next highest error ranking. And so you could uncheck that, and then we get to a point where we have no points over 100. So generally over 100 is kind of where you want to start eliminating points there. You also can see in the measurement column that we have observations on each point at instruments 0, 1, 2, and 3. If there was an instrument that had not shot, let's say point 10, like let's say instrument 2 had not shot point 10, then that would just be have an underline there instead of using the number. So another way that we can do this is go back and include all of those, and then we could do what's called an auto solve, which is a best fit and then solve, and then it will automatically trim the outliers. And you can see here that it automatically trimmed point 13 only observation 0. So it didn't exclude all observations of point 13, just the one with the highest error ranking, and that ended up being when it was shot by instrument 0. If we do this one more time, it will say, hey, you've already auto-solved, so you've already trimmed. We wanted to do that again, so is that okay? We hit yes, and then we get a really good ranking here where 93 is our highest, and we excluded shot at point 13 from instrument 0 and point 10 from instrument 0, because you can see those are blank there. So then at that point, I've got a really good solution here. My max error is 5 thou, and overall RMS is 1.2 thou. So that's a really good solution there for aligning all the instruments. I'm going to hit apply, and you can see all of the instruments and points align there. So this is our true USMN here, and you can see that USMN also creates a composite group. So if we zoom in really close here, you can see what a composite group is something slightly better than an average of all 4 shots here. So if I turn on the point labels by hitting Alt-L, we can see that this is 0.9, and 0.9 has the 4 instrument observations on it, and then it also has a composite point. And so that composite point is not just an average of the XYZ locations that were the 4 points that shot it, but it's actually doing a USMN solve on it. So this is really a more accurate description of where 0.9 should fall based on all the instrument observations. So then you can use that composite point if you wanted to move all of these instruments at once. You can move that composite group to another nominal control group if you wanted to, and then move all the instruments with it. So that's USMN. Pretty simple way to align a bunch of different shots with instruments in different locations and come up with a really good solution for